is Mr. Lamborn for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am pleased to have the Climax and Henderson molybdenum mines in my state of Colorado. I used to represent one of these two mines in my former district lines. They are the only pure molybdenum mines outside of China and together produce 33% of our entire domestic production. And it's critical for energy and infrastructure projects. The Henderson mine alone is able to recycle 75% of its water, or roughly 2 billion gallons in 2022, and much of this water is even sent to the city of Denver and reclaimed as drinking water. So, Dr. Eggert, while our Colorado mines specifically target molybdenum, it is more often the case that critical minerals are produced as a byproduct of a host mineral. Can you explain the relationship between critical minerals and host minerals? And how important is it to have a robust mining industry for all minerals if we want to harvest critical minerals?
As several people have said, many of the minerals listed as critical are produced as minor byproducts of other things, some of which are not major or listed as critical minerals. It's both a risk, but it's also an opportunity because in places like the Kennecott Bingham Canyon mine in Utah, for example, there are unrecovered minor amounts of critical minerals that are waiting to be recovered. There are emerging efforts in this regard, and I think they are worthy of greater attention.
Okay, thank you. China recently announced that it will curb the export of gallium, for which they produce the bulk of the world's supply, and germanium, upon which the U.S. is 54% reliant on Chinese exports. These two minerals are critical for semiconductors, solar cells, integrated circuits, fiber optics, and more. The U.S. is more than capable of producing these items domestically, and it's unacceptable not to do so considering the amount of money and attention we have placed upon microchip production in the last few years. In 1943, U.S. bauxite production, for example, which is the host mineral for gallium, peaked at 6.3 million tons. By 2013, that had dropped to 128,000 tons, which is less than 1% of global supply. Now, China, by the way, is not as environmentally responsible as we are. In my opinion, if we are less dependent on China, this creates a race to the top, bringing production to our shores where we do such a better job. By offshoring production to China, we are poisoning the world as well as endangering our national security. So, Dr. Nasser, if we allow the development of critical minerals in general, would the United States be less dependent on China?
Congressman, thank you for that question. I agree that the U.S. is not a major bauxite producer. In fact, we import quite a bit of our bauxite to produce alumina. And so when we did a quick analysis in terms of the gallium content of the imported bauxite, there's quite a bit in there that potentially could be produced in the United States. And our analysis specifically examines in the latest list country metrics that evaluate how reliable those supplies may be.
On another topic, demand for minerals and metals is expected to drastically increase to meet manufacturing, infrastructure, energy, and national defense needs. The DoD's Logistics Energy Agency provides economic analysis and forecasts for strategic and critical minerals. That's one of the three lists that we talked about in your testimony. How does the Defense Logistics Agency's analysis compare to that of DOE or USGS? And are there components of that methodology that USGS could pick up? And I'll start with you, Dr. Eggert.
The Defense Logistics Agency analysis has a much shorter time frame. It evaluates national emergencies of months to several years. It focuses on both military preparedness and essential civilian infrastructure, in times of national emergency. It's very detailed. I don't have a lot of insight into it, but it's an example of a narrower focus and a specific type of emergency that's being evaluated.
Dr. Nasser, do you have anything to add to that real quickly?
No, I think that's accurate. I would add just quickly that the USGS provides data for both the Defense Logistics Agency and the Department of Energy to analyze their issues and provide their reports.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.